Let's look at the RACE framework for data structures and algorithm questions. We have designed this framework to help you put some structure around Leetcode type questions. We recommend you to use this framework while answering your questions in interviews, and also use this framework when you're practicing Leetcode questions on your own. Let's look into how this framework works. So RACE is an abbreviation where R stands for reason, A for approach, C for code, and E for evaluate. When you're presented with a DSA question, the first thing that you do is you start reasoning about the question. This is a section where you reread the problem statement, you ask clarifying questions if it's an interview setup, and you look at the examples. Your end goal from this section will be to get a very solid understanding of what the problem statement is saying. With that understanding, we move on to the approach section. Here, we think about different ways the problem can be solved, evaluating different approaches. The end goal here would be to focus and finalize on one approach. If you are in an interview setup, you talk to your interviewer about different approaches, and with the consensus approach is finalized, where you focus and dry run that approach to make sure that your approach works on your question. With your approach being finalized, next we move on to the code section. This is where you translate your approach into a working piece of code. This is also the section where you dry run the code on a few examples that we saw in the reasoning section and hopefully also worked with in the approach section. You run your code and make sure that all your test cases pass. Finally, with code complete, we move on to the evaluate section where we write big O notations for our time and space complexities. Please don't worry about memorizing this framework. We'll use this framework for all the DSA questions that we post on Solbit's channel.